You know, some might suggest, of course, that the former royal known as Prince Harry is getting mighty cocky, you know what I'm saying? He now thinks, of course, that he can plough ahead with some of these litigation cases and, in case, win them. But, of course, it's cost him a lot of money so far. People don't realise, you know, when you go down this particular route, doesn't matter how rich you are, it's the lawyers that come out the best. Yes, you might get a bit of a win, as Meghan Markle did with a £1 donation or whatever from the newspaper, but really, you know, it's not necessarily a win in full. Now, Prince Harry literally is looking for big bucks. We've told you before he needs money and needs a lot of it. What's interesting though is, can he now get it through this man? That's right. As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time out. We'll have a wave. Morning, yes, you're right. And as ever, thank you for your lovely comments about our recent videos. It's always nice to share information other than royal stuff, of course. You know, yes, we love it, but it's always nice to look at other things, get the old grey matter going, isn't it, you know? I know. I'm glad you enjoyed Murder, She Wrote, because I'm a bit like you. I think there's only one person, Angela Lansbury. When they try and do these things, it never really works. Somebody reminded me the other day, which I'd forgotten, that they tried to do a reboot of Dallas. Hate that phrase, actually, don't you? A remake of Dallas. And they'd also had to go at Dynasty. And I thought, yeah, you can't replicate what was a golden moment. You just have to try and find something new, don't you? Some might say the same thing, of course, of Prince Harry, because last week, if you remember, 4 Weddings and a Funeral star Hugh Grant very famously decided to accept the shilling, finally, of News UK. And he said he'd had a huge amount being paid to him. Of course, he couldn't disclose it. No, couldn't disclose it, you. No, it would be, well, ill-formed, wouldn't it? You know, crass, all that sort of stuff. Apparently, though, the reason why is because, you know, they hadn't actually paid it yet and they hadn't finally agreed on a final fee. Hence the reason he couldn't disclose it. Right, you? But this has really triggered off somebody over in California, in Montecito, in fact. Prince Harry, you see, he's desperate, according to a very well-placed source, as ever, we have to say, allegedly, to find out exactly how much you got. You see, obviously, if you got the lion's share of the money, I'm sure Prince Harry and his team would like to get more. He feels far more, you know, shall we say, slighted than you, who, of course, was caught out infamously now with Divine Brown over 30 years, 25 years ago now. Remember that? And then, of course, you see, Prince Harry himself says that a lot of this stuff that he's now got, you know, was all triggered by the alleged hacking claims of course, these particular newspapers and reporters. You see how this works. But so far, his team have been able to secure this particular information. You see, let's imagine that, say, Hugh Grant got, let's say, 5 million. I mean, I don't believe that. I think the tops would be around about 1.2 maximum. That's a lot of money. It's small fry, though, for someone like the former royal. And according to that source, Harry really wants to know. Now, of course, Hugh Grant has got to be very careful what he says in public, because even after the court case, that could get leaked out. It's a 24 world that we now all live in, isn't it? The 24-hour world. But Harry, as I say, wants to be the king of bringing the British media down, the British press. And more importantly, I would suspect whatever Harry gets, if he believes it's a bigger figure, he wouldn't bother too unkindly about sharing that with the world to let them know that he took and he won. Either way, it's getting nasty, and either way, when you think it's all rather unsavoury, I do prefer the celebrities that actually do settle out and keep it very private. Obviously, this is about banner waving and making sure that you look like you know what you're doing. You, so far, has been very, very clever because, of course, he's not mentioned the fee and he comes away looking a winner. Will Harry do the same? I'll leave that one up to you. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.